What's up? Today we're going to talk about the bench press. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to set it up in a way that makes total sense, and you'll never need another bench press video ever again. First things first, hair up. We're also going to ignore that there's a couch in my garage. Please and thank you. All right, so the first thing you want to do is make sure that your bar is not too high or too low. If it's too high, you're going to have to do one of those things where you lift up your chest and your shoulders to get the bar up. And if it's too low, you're going to be essentially doing an entire rep of a bench press to get the bar off. And when that weight is really heavy, that's not going to be safe either, because you're kind of reaching a touch behind you to get the bar to bring it into position, because this is where we want to be starting, right here, but we have to get the bar from here to here. And when that's a loaded bar, bringing that weight from here to here when you're down here is going to be even harder. Okay, so make sure that that's at perfect height where you just have to lift it a tiny bit to get it off the J hooks. But before you even lift it off the J hooks, you want to roll it to the front and make sure that your eyeballs are directly under the bar. So there's a straight line from your eyeballs to the bar. I'm going to scooch a little forward here. There we go. Perfect. Now, as far as grip, a lot of bars will have a little bit of rough, like a rough texture to them. And there's a line where that rough texture starts. So I usually just use my thumbs, and every bar is different. So I can't tell you like the exact distance, and everybody's got different size thumbs and all that good stuff. But you want to be to the position on your barbell where you're not super wide, but you're also not super narrow. You want to be out so that if you were to bring your arms down, you come at a 90-degree angle. So just drop your hands from the barbell and see if your arms are about a 90-degree angle, and then reach up and grab it in that position. Now at this point, you're gonna press the barbell up, bring it forward so that it's directly over your shoulders, and this part is really, really crucial. You're gonna allow your shoulder blades to sink into the bench. Do you see how my shoulder blades went from here to here? Okay, you're really gonna sink those shoulder blades into the bench, and you're gonna pin them to the back of the bench. At the same time, you're gonna squeeze your glutes. So right now my glutes are relaxed, and right now they're squeezed. And what you'll notice is that I have a nice low back arch that is very natural and is actually going to help me a lot in the bench press. A mistake a lot of people make is they pull their shoulder blades up and they're not squeezing their glutes, and they have very loose legs, and they're trying to close that low back arch, which is actually going to be a higher risk of injury potential when we do it that way. So pin those shoulder blades back to the bench, squeeze your glutes, allow that low back arch to be there. I want you to think about a bridge. A bridge is strong in an arch because of it's strong on either end, and either end of your bridge right now is your pinned back shoulder blades and your glutes. Now when you're pinning back your shoulder blades, I want you to imagine that you are like up against a wall, and there's another wall that's moving towards you, and you are utilizing the bench. You're pushing against the wall. You're pushing against that wall to push the other wall away from you. So instead of just laying on the bench and pushing this barbell, we're actively using the bench and kind of pushing back against it while we push the barbell away. And that's going to create a lot of power and a lot of strength, and you're going to notice a big difference. Okay, so back to that positioning of lifting up the bar, which by the way, when you're lifting up the bar, you want it to sit right in your thumb hook, and you want it to kind of cross diagonally down your hand to sit on this patty part of your hand. So it's not gonna go directly across, it's gonna kind of go diagonal just a touch. And that's gonna have to cause you to turn your hand to get it in that position, which is gonna be a better position for your hand and your elbow and your shoulder. You're also gonna give a tiny little turn. So you're gonna create torque by acting like, kind of like you're trying to break the barbell, but you're not gonna squeeze it that hard. You're just gonna give it a little twist, like you're trying to just give it a little bend in the barbell. Another thing you're gonna do is you wanna try to make sure that your wrist is straight up and down, and don't hold the barbell like this. Holding the barbell like this is gonna put a lot of weight into your hand, which is gonna strain your wrist. So try as much as you can to keep your wrist fairly neutral. So I have a neutral wrist. I'm pressing that bar up over top of my shoulders, and now I'm in my beginning position. I've got my shoulder blades pinned back. I'm squeezing my glutes, and now the next thing I want you to do is activate leg drive. When you are activating your legs, you're gonna push down into the floor, but you're also gonna push forward at the same time. So it's this downward and forward motion driving those heels into the floor. So not only do I have my glutes squeezed right now, but I'm pushing into the ground, and I'm also pushing slightly forward with my shoulder blades pinned down. Now what's happening is my quads are really tight as well as my glutes. You don't want to let your butt lift off of the bench. You're gonna be tempted to do that when the weight gets heavier, but you really want to keep your glutes on the bench. But that is what leg drive is. So pushing in and down. And now we're in position to start. Lots of setup, right? As we bring the bar down, it's really important to allow your elbows to glide back so that the ending position of the bar is about the bottom of your bra line before we push back up. We don't want to flare out the elbows and bring the bench to our chest. We want to glide the elbows back. Let me show you what that's going to look like. So what that essentially is, and this is true in a push-up as well, is we start the push with your wrists directly over your shoulders, and in a push-up, your shoulders are directly over your wrists. But as we come back, we glide the elbows back to end right here. So in a push-up, it's gonna look like this. You're ending here, okay? Instead of flaring the elbows and coming out here. So this is really, really important for your shoulder health and your shoulder stability. Your shoulders are going to be much more stable in this position. And when we press the bar back up, it's going to slightly curve into your chest as it comes up, okay? You don't really have to think about that. If you just make sure that you bring those elbows back, end it at your bra line, and then push back up directly in starting position, it will likely follow that curved path, okay? So let's go through it again one more time. I'm laying down, shifting myself so my eyeballs are directly under the bar. I've got my width at about 90 degrees of my elbow. I'm squeezing my glutes. I've got my, well, I'm not gonna pin my shoulder blade. I'm gonna lift the bar, then I'm gonna pin my shoulder blades back. I'm gonna push in and forward with my legs to activate leg drive. And then I'm going to make sure that my wrists are fairly neutral. And I'm gonna bring my elbows back and bring that barbell down to about my bra line before I press back up directly over shoulders, okay? Again, bringing it down about bra line, pressing it back up, okay? And then when you're done your reps, you're gonna push the barbell backwards literally until it bangs the back of your cage. That's how you know that you're safe to bring it down. All right, let's put some weight on it.